Hi, my name's Nick Broughton and I'm a Randomfish. Hit that subscribe button and we'll all be Randomfishes together. See that? See that wonderful thing on behind me? I'm not playing it because, you know, that kind of thing, but it's a frozen image, so that's fine. School of Rock. Possibly considered one of my favourite films of all time. And, for me anyway, the film that made me a Jack Blackaholic. Lovely noise. But today, I want to talk about a different school of rock. I'm not talking about the documentary that was made. I'm not talking about Rock School, the Gene Simmons show that had 2 seasons over on Channel 4. If you haven't seen it, do check it out. It's so good for so many reasons. Today, I want to talk about School of Rock, the Nickelodeon show. Today, it premiered on E4. Oh, E4. You glorious people of randomness. You channel of bizarre and epicness. You chose a Nickelodeon show. Any particular reason for that? At all? I don't deny Nickelodeon's had some good shots in the past. They've given us the likes of, well, given us the likes of SpongeBob SquarePants. They gave us the Avatar series, as in The Last Airbender, not Legend of Korra. Although they might have done Legend of Korra as well. I'm not entirely sure on that front. Anyway, different tangent for a different time. But Nickelodeon apparently owned enough of the rights of School of Rock to be able to make a series based off the events of what happened in the 2003 film. Now, I make it a point, really, unless I really love the actor or actress involved, to not really learn much about them apart from any if they've been in any other stuff, especially if I really like their performance or if it's a filmmaker and I particularly like his aesthetic. I tend not to really get that involved in how these things work. So you'll forgive me if I never mention anyone's actual names, the actual actors or actresses' names throughout the show. Now bear in mind, only the first episode premiered tonight. So we've still got the rest of the season to go. But I'm watching this and all I can really keep on thinking is, why? Why did this need to become a series? Well, let's take a gander. School of Rock first got brought out into the world in 2003, like I said. The film came out in that time. Sometime after that, Andrew Lloyd Webber and a whole bunch of other people put the pens to paper and they made a musical of School of Rock, which I thought was pretty cool. If you haven't listened to the soundtrack, look it up on wherever it is you get your music, be it iTunes, be it Spotify, be it wherever. I personally get mine from Spotify. But within this premise, the musical was good because it had more of a focus on the kids than it did on Dewey. And the reason why the Dewey focus works so well in the film is that it was Jack Black playing Dewey Finn. It worked. It was a mashup for focus on him and the kids, but it was mostly him. And it worked because of who Jack Black was. He is and always will be a loud, powerful, strong, be a larger-than-life guy in real life anyway. So having him play that character on screen worked. But what amused me the most was that in the musical, it worked as well, because the focus of the kids being that they were misunderstood by their parents, that they felt like their parents were pressuring them into something that they didn't feel they wanted to be doing, or something they didn't feel like they should be doing with their lives. And I liked that about the musical. I thought that was a great mentality to have in the musical. And then the TV show came out. And again, I've only seen the very first episode, but I can pretty much gauge a lot from this. The guy who plays Dewey Finn is trying very desperately to be like Jack Black, and there's a lot of things that you could really do with especially with a Nickelodeon show. But Jack Black and his full Jack Blackiness, it doesn't really work well with a kids show. The reason why it works for JB himself is that it's Jack Black doing it. He can make his own style work within that concept. If you're an actor trying to imitate his zaniness or his power on set or on stage or whatever, there are very few who can get away with it. Now, the Dewey Finn we get in the musical, again, he's based off of the Jack Black character, but the actor who plays him, at least in the soundtrack anyway, has enough of a similarity to his voice and to his power that works. And obviously what you have to understand is that when you're taking on a character, you have to impart a bit of yourself into the character in order to make it your own. The guy in School of Rock doesn't seem to be doing that. He seems to be playing Jack Black, playing Dewey Finn. He doesn't seem to be himself playing Dewey Finn. It doesn't feel like that. Dewey Finn is, above all else, a character. And while there is a lot of Jack Black in him, he is still a character. You still have characteristics that you can take from him and make your own. That's how this works. But anyway, that's enough about the Dewey Finn character. Let's move on to the kids. In the show, we have various characters from the original film. We have, obviously, Zach, the guitarist. We have Lawrence, the keyboard player. Freddie, the drummer. Summer, the not quite as high-achieving type as she is in the film, when she was played by that wonderful, wonderful person who is now a Disney film star in and of her own rights. I can't remember her exact name, I do apologise. But, that's it. Tamika is in this, but her and her film counterpart are very, very different. And all the other characters from the film, they either haven't been introduced yet, or they just don't exist within this show's reality, within the confines of this particular show. Which is a bit sad, but not entirely surprising. You take the best of the best and you put them into shows and whatnot. I get that. That's fairly decent. That's good. I'm fine with that. What interests me the most is that Summer in this version has got a voice. The funniest thing about Summer in the film was that she goes, I can sing, and then is absolutely abysmal. And it's the reason as to why Dewey becomes the lead singer of the band in the first place, because he is who he is. Which is fine. But Summer being able to sing, it's not a deal breaker for me. I was like, it's a kid's show. They're probably all going to be singing a whole bunch of songs together. It makes sense that she's a singer. That works. But the Tamika in this version is... Tamika in the original 2003 version was a girl who had issues, didn't really want to sing, but also wanted to sing deep down, and so Dewey had to bring it out of her, and when she did sing, she was phenomenal, and she was, she became one of the three singers in the back of the band, and she was phenomenal, and she had her own little mini arc throughout the film, i.e. the whole thing, her sitting there being like, I'm chubby, I don't know how I'm going to exist on stage if I'm like this. They're going to laugh at me because I'm fat. That's an actual line from the film. And, Dewey helps her get over that by sort of saying, I'm chubby, but when I go on stage, people worship me because I'm awesome. And that's brilliant. The Tamika in this show, again, I know no one's names. I know no actresses' names. I really don't. I do apologise for not knowing their names, but she doesn't just... She does sing. She's also Summer's best friend. Okay? But she plays bass. And not the character of Katie. Which I think is, while not a disservice, it feels like it could have taken one of the best story arcs and just cut it completely from the show. You could have had the actress who plays the Tamika character in this show play Katie, have her learn to play the bass and everything else, which is fine, and then have Tamika be brought in and have her be this slightly chubbier character who Finn sort of defends and says, look, you know, I'm not exactly a typical looking guy in any way, shape or form, but when I'm on stage and I have the confidence and I can rock a guitar and I can rock a mic, everyone pays attention to me. And that can be sort of like a mini arc throughout the series. Like, you've got to... People at Nickelodeon, you really should think of it more in story terms. You should have rewatched the film, looked at some of the small story arcs as well as the big story arcs, and tried to make it last longer throughout the show. But, what do I know? The show takes the central conflict of the film and gets rid of it in one bloody episode. What do I say? One episode. There'll be at least 2 to do this, or maybe 3 if it's a cliffhanger ending. I'm not sure. But Dewey lies to get the job in the film. Dewey Finn lies to get the job in the film by pretending to be Ned Schneebly. Now, I understand that you may not want to have Ned Schneebly in the show. I get it. Weird, but I do get it. Having Dewey getting into the school by lying is fine, absolutely fine. But the kids shouldn't have figured it out that early. Or they shouldn't have created something with enough backlash to have done that. The reason as to why, again, this is not me calling kids of today stupid. I'm not saying that kids need to be stupid. I'm not saying we need to treat them as if they're stupid. What I am saying is that try and make the Dewey in this show, what you could have done with him, is made him just that little bit sneakier and a little bit more interesting. Have him be the teacher that sort of comes in, has unconventional ways of doing things, have him maybe come in and play guitar for them a couple of times for certain pieces of music and sort of talk about it. Have him have a rudimentary-ish knowledge of things. You know, something like that. Have him be a character that they can, you know, like have the opening be a 2-parter, for example. Have that be a 2-parter. To the point where, at the end of the first episode is when they go in and they sort of look at they see this club that he goes into, and they go, ooh, wonder what that's all about. And they go in, and you don't actually get their reaction at the beginning. You just have one of the characters go, oh my god, or something to that effect. I know you probably can't say, oh my god, on Nickelodeon. I don't know. I don't know what TV laws are like anymore. It's ridiculous. But you could have done that in a 2-parter, and you could have had them finding out, and you could have had the school finding out be the 2 biggest focal points of the show. But you have to let the story breathe in order to do it right. And I'm against this show's treatment of that plot because it does that in one episode and doesn't give it the time and the credit that it deserves. Either that, or have Dewey be smart enough that he gets around the kids. Have him be a character that, you know, doesn't make them go, oh, he's not a teacher that easily. Because literally they do this throughout the show. He does a couple of stupid things, and they all stand there and they go, yeah, he's fantastic. There's no way he's a real teacher. You just lost the central conflict of your film, in your show, in 5 minutes. You lost it in 5 minutes. What the hell? I just don't. I don't know. I don't have a clue anymore. It's ridiculous. For everyone concerned. And now, the worst bit of it being, is that for a lot of people, and for a lot of different reasons, this show is now on E4 and probably will be until the end of the season. Which, okay, I'll admit it, I'm not a massive fan of this show, but I'll still watch it. Why? Because it's a stupid, dope show, and frankly, I'm I'm in no way invested in the characters, but I kind of want to see what else they do to try and go, look at us, we're copying the film, but we're an original, honest thought processes. Let's see how well that handles for them, shall we? Now I did this review. I'm going to stick it up. I've stuck it up on YouTube for now. Please like, subscribe, comment below if you watched it on its premiere on E4. Tell me what you thought of it, or if not, try and find the show somewhere. I'm sure it's available somewhere through through streaming services, maybe. Or find it on all four if it's there. If it's not, that's my bad. Best of luck to y'all. But check out the episode. Please, comment to me. Tell me what you thought was one of the dumbest points of this. And I will leave you with my final thoughts on this, and I will just reiterate what I've just said. It's dumb. It's not an insult to the original because they are trying. But they're trying to do something they're trying to fix something that isn't broken, and they're trying to cash in on something that really you shouldn't be aiming at kids. But I will say it is silly enough and it is dopey enough that I want to see the rest of it. So I'm going to keep on watching E4 for School of Rock. Weekdays, 7:30. Randomfish out.